If telepathy had taught me anything, it was that people could bury the most serious and painful of memories if you gave them enough time and distraction. The blood is not just any vampires, it's Eric's blood. It's strong stuff, and my wrists are a lot better. I didn't mention that the nerves were jumping around in them like hot snakes just at this moment, a result of their having been tied together tightly for several hours. Dr. Ludwig, physician to the supernatural, had told me the nerves and the wrists would be back to normal eventually. Yeah, speaking of the blood, Amelia took a deep breath and steeled herself to say something she knew I wouldn't like. Since I heard it before she actually voiced it, I was able to brace myself. Had you thought about... Sookie, you didn't ask me, but I think you better not have any more of Eric's blood. I mean, I know he's your man, but you gotta think about the consequences. Sometimes people get flipped by accident. It's not like it's a math equation. Though I appreciated Amelia's concern, she'd trespassed into private territory. We don't swap, I said. Much. He just has a sip from me at, the happy moment. These days, Eric was having a lot more happy moments than I was, sadly. I kept hoping the bedroom magic would return. If any male could perform sexual healing, that male would be Eric. Amelia smiled, which was what I'd been aiming for. At least, she turned away without finishing the sentence, but she was thinking, at least you feel like having sex. I didn't so much feel like having sex as I felt like I ought to keep trying to enjoy it, but I definitely didn't want to discuss that. My ability to cast aside control, which is the key to good sex, had been pinched out of existence during the torture. I'd been absolutely helpless. I could only hope that I'd recover in that area, too. I knew Eric could feel my lack of completion. He'd asked me several times if I was sure I wanted to engage in sex. Nearly every time I said yes, operating on the bicycle theory. Yes, I'd fallen off, but I was always willing to try to ride it again. So, how's the relationship doing? She said, aside from the whoopee. Every last thing was in Amelia's car. She was stalling, dreading the moment when she actually got into her car and drove away. It was only pride that was keeping me from bawling all over her. I think we're getting along pretty well, I said with a great effort at sounding cheerful. I'm still not sure what I feel as opposed to what the bond is making me feel. It was kind of nice to be able to talk about my supernatural connection to Eric as well as my regular old man-woman attraction. Even before my injuries during the Faery War, Eric and I had established what the vampires called a blood bond, since we'd exchanged blood several times. I could sense Eric's general location and his mood, and he could feel the same things about me. He was always faintly present in the back of my mind, sort of like turning on a fan or an air filter to provide a little buzz of noise that would help you get to sleep. It was good for me that Eric slept all day, because I could be by myself at least part of the time. Maybe he felt the same way after I went to bed at night. It wasn't like I heard voices in my head or anything, at least no more than usual. But if I felt happy, I had to check to make sure it was me and not Eric who felt happy. Likewise for anger. Eric was big on anger, controlled and carefully banked anger, especially lately. Maybe he was getting that from me. I was pretty full of anger myself these days. I'd forgotten all about Amelia. I'd stepped right into my own trough of depression. She snapped me out of it. That's just a big fat excuse, she said tartly. Come on, Sookie. You love him or you don't. Don't keep putting off thinking about it by blaming everything on your bond. Wow. If you hate the bond so much, why haven't you explored how you can get free of it? She took in the expression on my face, and the irritation faded out of her own. Do you want me to ask Octavia? She asked in a milder voice. If anyone would know, she would. Yes, I'd like to find out, I said after a moment. I took a deep breath.